The location where you declare a variable will affect where it can be used within your code. If you declare it within a function, it can only be used within that function. This is known as the variable's scope. When a variable is created inside a function using the var keyword, it can only be used in that one function. It is called a local variable or function level variable. It is said to have local scope or function level scope. It cannot be accessed outside of the function in which it was declared. Here, the variable area is the local variable. The interpreter creates local variables when the function is run and removes them as soon as the function has finished its task. This means that if the function runs twice, the variable can have different values each time. In addition, two different functions can use variables with the same name without any kind of naming conflict. Now, if you create a variable outside of a function, then it can be used anywhere within the script. This is called a global variable, and it has global scope. In the example shown here, wall size is a global variable. Global variables are stored in memory for as long as the web page is loaded into the web browser. This means that they take up more memory than local variables. It also increases the risk of naming conflicts. You should use local variables whenever possible. If you forget to declare a variable using the var keyword, the variable will work, but it will be treated as a global variable. This is also considered bad practice. So we know that global variables use more memory, and the browser has to remember them for as long as the web page using them is loaded. Local variables are only remembered during the period of time that the function is being executed. So each variable that you declare takes up memory. The more variables a browser has to remember, the more memory your script requires to run. Scripts that require a lot of memory can perform slower, which in turn makes your web page take longer to respond to the user. A variable actually references a value that is stored in memory. The same value can be used with more than one variable. You might think that you would avoid naming collisions. After all, you know which variables you're using, but many sites use scripts written by several people. If an HTML page uses two JavaScript files and both have a global variable with the same name, it can cause errors. Imagine a page using these two scripts. Variables in global scope are going to have naming conflicts. These are the variables called MSG. The variables within the function scope, these are the width and the height variables. Because they're inside the function scope, there's going to be no conflict between them. It's important that you understand variable scope so that you can be sure that you're creating your variables in the proper location so that you don't have conflicts later on.